Hello, today is May 4th, and we're going to be reading our second reading for this coming Sunday, the fourth Sunday in Easter. Our second reading is from Revelation. We have been reading through Revelation this whole season of Easter, and we continue on with Revelation 7, verses 9 through 17. After this I looked, and there was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, robed in white, with palm branches in their hands. They cried out in a loud voice, saying, "Salvation belongs to our God, who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb." And all the angels stood around the throne and around the elders and the four living creatures, and they fell on their faces before the throne and worshipped God, singing, "Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God forever and ever. Amen." Then one of the elders addressed me, saying, "Who are these robed in white, and where have they come from?" I said to him, "Sir, you are the one that knows." Then he said to me, "These are they who have come out of the great ordeal. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. For this reason they are before the throne of God and worship him day and night within his temple. And the one who is seated on the throne will shelter them. They will hunger no more and thirst no more. The sun will not strike them, nor any scorching heat. For the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of the water of life, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Our text is, as I said, Revelation. This is a text that is sometimes misconstrued, misunderstood. It is easily misunderstood for its symbolic allegories. But to remember what this text begins as, it is a vision, but it is also a letter of comfort and assurance to seven churches in Asia Minor, modern day Turkey, that are facing already at this point, at the point that Revelation is written, already facing persecution, already facing disintegration, under the pressure of an overwhelming imperial power, the Roman imperial might that threatened to crush all who dissented, all who refused to worship the cult of the emperor, but more seriously, refused to participate in the violent machinations of empire. And so this is, as a professor who I admire, Elaine Pagels, who is a New Testament scholar, she wrote about this. This is wartime literature. This is a book that is meant to be encouraging, but also promising that the threat that these churches face, the claims that the Caesars made, both to absolute authority and to divinity, are lies. That Caesar, whoever the emperor, whoever the governor was at the time, whatever claims they made about their authority to do what they want, their authority over life and death, their ability to arrest and torture and brutalize whoever they wanted, to the furtherance of their own greed and lust and desire for power, they are simply no match for our God. And so this Revelation text is it's a revolutionary text, but not in the sense of a violent revolution, not in the sense of overthrowing the imperial government and replacing it with another kind of imperial government. We forget sometimes that Christianity, at its heart, God does not need the power of the state to do what God is going to do. In fact, here in Revelation, you have an image of God rejecting the power of the state. This particular passage, in which John looks and sees the multitude, is an example of of the sea of humanity. The idea that no, this isn't simply about one chosen people. The logic of the chosen people has been turned not necessarily on its head, but it has been expanded. It has been exploded out into the world. That it was a great multitude that no one could count. That every nation, every tribe, every people, every language is represented in this immense multicultural, multiracial, multi everything. All of it is gathered together on equal footing before the throne and before the Lamb. You have an image of of humanity, that the churches themselves, they are part of something that is immense and almost unimaginable. And this is in defiance to how empire works. Empire works by dividing. Empire works by creating divisions. Power rests, especially governmental power, rests on divisions. There are some who are going to have and some who are going to be cast out into the cold. Wealth depends. The idea that wealth is something that that the wealthy ought to have power, that the wealthy ought to be able to do what they like, is the logic of the world. No amount of violence and wealth is ever enough for the empire, and I think that's true enough in our own day. We have a system. We live within a cultural and governmental system in which wealth, you can hear it is going upwards. It is being pulled to the richest because they can. Accumulation is its own logic. There is nothing better than to gain and to take and to amass. That's how this imperial power, that's how the world functions, is by creating divisions based on wealth, based on race, based on nationality and ethnicity, and all of those divisions prop up the Caesars of our own day, propped up Caesar and all of his successors in the day of the Roman Empire. But Revelation gives another vision of what can be, of what will be, and that is those divisions that exist, those are dissolved away. Those are washed away. That the idea of self-enrichment at the expense of the other, that is dissolved away in the blood of the self-sacrificing lamb. Where if you think that Jesus is going to be the kind of king that you imagine he should be, which is part and parcel with our gospel this week, that Jesus is not the kind of Messiah that is expected. Jesus, the Lamb, is the slaughtered victim of the empire, the victim of the system of violence and self-enrichment at the expense of the dispossessed and the oppressed. But because of the power of the resurrection, because the Lamb has been put on the throne, that empire is ultimately overthrown. That empire is ultimately going to go away, and we are going to be and joy of joys, blessing and honor and glory and might, all are going to be given to the Lamb, and we are going to be free. Those things that divide us, those things that have been put in place because we are a sinful people who have wrapped ourselves in chains that we can't get rid of ourselves, God is going to come and tear those things down. So, because we have this to look forward to, because we are members of the multitude here and now, this text is asking us, how are you going to behave? What do you value? Do you put value in the logic of the world? Do you put value in enriching yourself at the expense of the other? Do you put value in promoting violence against those who are outside of your particular ideological or racial or ethnic or national group? Because those things are going to go away. Those things are going to be washed away in the blood of the Lamb, because we are going to be pulled together into the multitude. How do you react to this logic? How do you react to this reality that is coming? How do you embrace it as something to live into, even here in these days before those final times will come? That's the challenge of Revelation. That's the joy of this news, and the drive, what this is supposed to spur in us, awaken in us, as we look forward to gathering around the throne and singing with the elders, as we look to get through our own ordeal, as we look forward to being with the multitude. I hope you're having a good week. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.